Welcome back, viewers at home. You're joining me for yet an amazing conversation. Now, through her words, you get to witness the power and the beauty of transformation. As my guest tonight, Bontle Amanda Chauke, reveals how she overcame these obstacles to find healing, self-acceptance, as well as purpose. Good evening, Bontle, and thank you so much for joining us once again.
Good evening, and thank you for having me once again.
Always a pleasure because we talk about, you discovering yourself and the books that you write, and it shows that you're here to sort of not only work on yourself, but help others work on themselves. And with that, it brings me to my first question. When we look at walk in my shoes, for someone who's probably hearing it and seeing it for the first time, how would you best introduce your book?
So, Walk in My Shoes is a personal memoir that speaks of my journey through bullying, through fatherlessness, self acceptance, and redefining beauty and also finding purpose. It's a book that I wrote to welcome or invite readers to say, most of the time we normally say to people, I wish I was in your shoes. But do we really take time to stand and be in people's shoes like we say we wish to be in their shoes? So I'm saying if we can be more understanding, more sympathetic, and take a time to walk in other people's shoes, maybe we'll be less judgmental as a society.
And now, speaking on walking in people's shoes or just walking in my shoes, which is a journey of transformation and finding healing, can you take us through a moment where you discovered that actually I am now beginning to heal? I'm in that healing process.
So there was a situation where I would come across people, people have different comments, and people, especially those who are singing for the first time, they would say to me, yo, you're so dark and stuff like that. Um, First, I would say, yo, I'm offended. But when I came to this other point, this other time, I met these two guys, I was approaching and they were coming towards me and they said something else, something of a bad comment. And, I had the comment, but as I had the comment, I did not react. And that is when I realized, oh, Bontle, you've actually healed. And that's why you're not even reacting, you're not even commenting. So it means healing is possible. And if someone is out there viewing the show, I want to say healing is really possible.
But would you say that does it take away the hurt of those comments that you receive? Because I think when you bring yourself to being silent and saying, I'm not going to react, I'm not going to go to their level, it's one thing. But for someone a young child who's probably watching tonight, who's like, I never react, and they're thinking, or maybe they believe that hurt goes away. In your experience, do you believe that the hurting goes away with it, or it's something that you use it as an armor of some sort?
Um, to people who haven't really accepted themselves, if someone says such comment,
Yeah.
you would obviously get hurt. But as someone who have learned to accept yourself and to say to yourself, you know what, I'm like this and this is who I am and no one is going to do anything about it. When somebody says something about you, it no longer hurt you because you have accepted yourself and you really want to be yourself. Because a lot of people, they want to be copies of somebody else. And I say in this book, everyone else has been taken. Now it's up to you if you want to be yourself or you want to be somebody else.
Uzenenye.
Keep it calm.
Now, with that being said, what was the process like for you to transform your personal healing into a written memoir? Because I feel like it's going back and reliving those moments and reimagining those feelings and just everything that exists within the experiences themselves.
So going back and revisiting uh, the experiences, the journey, it's one of the hardest part that I had to go through in writing the book, because there are things that we call triggers. You go back to that moment that once really had you, and you want to write about it, but you are triggered to say, but what did I not actually react? Why did I not comment? Why did I allow this to happen? But it's part of healing. It's part of transformation, because immediately you write about it, it means you are actually over it and you are ready to share it with your world.
That is quite, interesting. And I'm loving the fact that you touch on so many aspects that you need to touch on as a person who's trying to heal or is on the journey of healing. And I think this brings me to my question of the certain themes that you explore in your book, which is so many fatherlessness, as you mentioned earlier on, but particularly in this question, I want to look at the theme of bullying and self-acceptance. And I want to find out from you, in what ways do you believe your experiences can actually offer hope to, or rather guidance to, some of these South Africans out there who are facing the similar challenges?
So when I was writing this book, I did a research, and in my research, I found out that 80% of young people are actually experiencing bullying, and that leads to them not being able to accept themselves. So with my experience, how can it resonate to other people? It's that, we live in a world where we are bullying or self-unacceptance is inevitable. Whether you say something or you believe it or not, people bully us. They bully us emotionally, they bully us physically, some even bully us mentally. But as someone who is out there and saying, this is what I'm going through, I just want to say that may my experience of overcoming, we can overcome bullying, but we cannot overcome it if we just remain silent. Bullying needs you to speak out. Bullying needs you to stand up and take your stand, because a lot of us, we actually close our voice. We say, what, I am being bullied and it's fine. You said okay with that. It's not okay to be bullied. It's not okay to live a life that you have not even accepted yourself, because God created us, every one of us, uniquely. So we need to step in our unique purpose so that we can be able to give the world the version of us that they need. So to anyone who's saying, I'm going through bullying, I'm going through self-unacceptance, I want to say to you, everybody else is taken, Dali. You should just be yourself. And in terms of the bullies, just make sure that you stand your ground. And when you stand your ground, bullies just fall away.
Yes, honey. And now, can you share with us any memorable reaction from individuals who actually found comfort and strength in reading your book?
So one of the chapters that readers really love in this book is a chapter that I spoke about finding a voice. They are saying for so many times we have silenced our voice, because if you are someone living in this world, you would come to a point where you feel like, hey, silence is the best thing. But silence is really not the best thing, because there are people, there are situations that are waiting for your voice so that they can change. So if you remain silent, those situations and those people will never change. So these people really love the chapter that speaks about finding your voice, because as a nation, as young people, as women, we need to find our voices so that the world can be a better place.
And using your words, not verbatim, everybody else is taken.
Yes,
Be you.
please.
I want to find out in the ideal of identity and purpose, because I think that's one thing a lot of people struggle with. And it's not only the youth, but then mostly it targets the youth, because it's the transformation of being a child to an adult. But it's something that really we all struggle with. In your view, how can young people stay true to themselves while navigating the challenges of identity and purpose, and also the content we consume? Because sometimes we think that we want the things we want because of that's who we are, but actually we're wanting the things we want because other people are showing it to us.
There's a line that I really love that I wrote in the book. It says, what happens if what you have known yourself to be is taken away? We are living in a world where many people have identified themselves with the things of the world. You ask somebody, who are you? The person will tell you, I'm a qualified teacher. But what if being a qualified teacher is taken away? Who are you? People don't know themselves. Oof. So you ask people, who are you? They tell you, I'm a millionaire. What if the money goes away? Who are you? Oof. They don't know. So a lot of people are really identifying themselves with the things of the world. But if those things go, who are you? Who are you when everyone and everything, it's not there? Who are you? So a lot of people are really struggling with that. Hence, it's very really bad for especially young people, because as a young people, we are growing up and becoming a nation, or who are going to be parents, who are going to be teachers. So what are we going to teach the next generation if we ourselves, we don't know who we are? So we should stop identifying ourselves with things. You spoke about content creation, saying people, you would see a video on TikTok saying, this is the kind of relationship. People would really identify themselves with the relationship that are in. And when the relationship breaks, you find someone is having mental struggles, someone is, but it means you yourself, you have made that relationship your identity. So I want people to remember that our identity is not in what we have. Our identity is who we are. After we have said everything about what we are, let us look deep within and ask ourselves, as Bontle, who am I and where I am going? And that's where you find your purpose, because your purpose is not in the counterfeit. Your purpose is in the real you. So we find the real you so that you can be able to find your purpose.
I feel like I'm sitting in a very special TEDx talk, and you're talking. I'm like the special guest here, and you're talking to me, and you're empowering me, and I'm just enjoying it and loving it. And just to close off our conversation, I'm going to give you a very powerful question, because unfortunately we have run out of time. Is that one, when you were writing your memoir, right, still drafting it, still going through the emotions, what did you learn about yourself that you hadn't fully realized before revisiting your story? And most importantly, just to close off the night, is how has becoming an advocate for others influenced your own resilience, healing, and most importantly, how you cope with adversity?
So when I was writing this memoir, I realized that, oh, Bontle was such a powerful force to be reckoned with. Because wow, how come you go through all these things and you still be able to write about such things? Because a lot of people, they don't want to write about their experiences. You ask them why, they say no, this experience takes me back. Unless we confront our triggers, we're not going anywhere as a nation. So it's very much important that we confront our triggers so that we can heal. And when you confront your trigger, you are saying to your trigger, I am not going to you the same way that I was. I'm going to you as someone who is more knowledgeable, as someone who is more understanding, and most importantly, as someone who has found themselves. So as I am being a voice for other people, you know, my story is that I say there's a chapter here in the book, the last chapter, I'm saying my story is one of inspiration, because I normally say to people that I am a queen of inspiration, because whatever that I speak, whatever that I do, it's a form of inspiration. So I want to say to people that, you know, your voice is very important. Rise and speak. Somebody out there is waiting to hear your voice to change. Somebody out there is waiting to hear your voice for their situations to change. So let us not keep quiet. Let us voice out. Being silent, it's not one of the things that will make us a great nation. But standing up and speaking up is what will make us a great nation.
Wintle, thank you so much for tonight. And where can viewers get a hold of you or your book?
So on all my social media platforms, it's Bontle Amanda Chauke. Bontle Amanda Chauke International.
Oh, okay. I see it.
I prophesied that.
Yes, and we're here for it. But thank you so much, Winter, for joining us and really being vulnerable with us and sharing your journey, and how you are here to help others also see the better versions of themselves, and seeing the value in the fact that buena bahao it can never be reciprocated. It can never exist in another person but yourself. And thank you so much for joining us. And we're wishing you nothing short of the best. And can't wait to see what you have in store for us in the coming future.
Thank you so much for having me.
Viewers at home, that was Bontle Amanda Chauke, who's the author of Walk in My Shoes. Hope you guys were quite, filled with your empty cup or your leaking cup, as I was so filled through what she had to share with regards to her journey, her intentions, and her visions for a healed world. But for now, let's head over to a net break. We'll see you just after this.